Hey y'all, hey, Amanda here. Little spring update. I haven't filmed like a life update in a while. I've got the deck furniture over there drying. I just gave that a nice scrubbing so that it's not all caked and icky with debris from the winter. And I think we're gonna build a new umbrella today that we bought for our patio downstairs. I'm gonna take you guys down to the yard and show you. We're building a garden bed, like a raised bed. So that's exciting. I'll show you our progress on that. But I guess just the major life update, and if you follow my page or if it comes across your feed frequently, you may know my mother-in-law did pass away at the beginning of the month, which was really hard, really sad. She had been living with us for the past 6 months since she got diagnosed with her cancer. She had bile duct cancer, which is not one you hear about very often, but she did have autoimmune liver hepatitis. Anyway, so that was really hard. That was a tough go. She declined really, really fast, like even faster than what we were told to expect. It was kind of shocking to everyone, even the hospice nurses. She had been in hospice for, I don't know, maybe she was on hospice for a few weeks, a month, and towards the end it just went really fast. So it was difficult, and I was the one that discovered she had passed, which was also pretty terrible. It's just not something that anyone should really have to go through, but given the state of the world, it is what it is. We weren't able to get her into a hospice facility. They just didn't have open beds. I guess there just really aren't enough. So it was really sad, but we had grandma here. We had taken her out of the nursing home and brought her here for the entire day that day. And those were like her last coherent words was, "Hi, Mom." And everything else she like attempted to say really wasn't super coherent. But I think that getting to see grandma was what she needed. And so that's just been a lot. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, you know, such as life. But that's been the biggest thing, is saying goodbye to Pammy. So we weren't able to do like a big viewing funeral type thing. We're hoping to plan like a celebration of life thing now that it's getting nicer out. Maybe something we could do outdoors, so there's a little more space. She had a lot of friends, a lot of really good friends, especially since she was like the summer manager down at the condominium where grandma and her lived. So she was just really good friends with a lot of people. So, and a lot of her friends have been reaching out. They've been really sweet about everything, and a lot of grandma's friends have been visiting her, which is nice. I really appreciate that people are making a point to still visit grandma, because it's tough. We try to get over there twice a week now, and it's just hard sometimes when you're just caught up in life, but we really make that a priority because she just hates being lonely, and I hate that she has to be lonely there. We just don't have the resources at home to care for her 24/7. She really needs 24/7 access to someone available to her if something happens. So it's just been tough times, yeah. But we have Pammy inside on one of our cabinets in a very beautiful urn right on the living floor. Our house is laid out weird, so the first floor isn't like the living space. It's kind of more like a basement type thing. But the second floor has got the kitchen and the living room. I'm sorry if you can hear that cop car or ambulance or whatever in the background. It's so loud. But I live in the city. But yeah, so the living room, the kitchen, dining room, all that stuff is on this floor, the second floor, and we've got her in her beautiful little urn here. So she's kind of where all the action is, and I think she'd like that. And yeah, so that's the biggest life update, but it's spring now. I'm going to try and come out of my shell a little more. We've definitely been a bit more reclusive, just spending weekends at home if we don't have anything already pre-planned. The next week we've got a Broadway Across America show, a concert, and a comedy show, so that's gonna like really thrust us straight into being social again. which I think will probably be a good thing. We need to get out of the house. For a long time, we weren't doing anything unless we had literally already had tickets for it, because it was just hard to get out and, you know, have to arrange like my mom or someone to visit to check on Pam. So yeah, just trying to get back to whatever the new normal looks like. And let me go downstairs now into the yard and show you guys our little garden we've built. It's Pammy, by the way. I think she'd like this really pretty stone urn right next to the cookbooks. Good view of the kitchen and the living room, even though it's a mess in here right now. Sorry. But yeah, I think this was a good choice. I think she'd like it. So here's our garden bed. This has actually been a fairly cheap endeavor. I only needed the wood and these little stone things. Now, granted, we did have to level out the ground, and my mom had a tiller, so you may need to rent one or just get really manual with it if you can't rent one. But we didn't have to level out the ground too much. It was only like a 2-inch or 2 difference from one side to the other, so it wasn't too bad. And also we did have to cut these to size, so I don't know, I guess you could have that done in store some places, I think. But yeah, this actually wasn't that hard to build. I built it mostly by myself, to be completely honest. Austin helped till up the ground, but I did most of the work. So down the bottom, we lined the base with cardboard. And then over top of that, I actually used the snow shovel to pick up all the leaves in the bottom of our yard. They like accumulate down there. So we've got all that. And then we've got a layer of like logs and branches and stuff, and then this is like filler dirt, which I don't know if you could see. Looks like our squirrel friends have already been digging in. And then we're gonna get some topsoil. We'll be good to go. And we've got a couple lattice things that we're gonna add for our green beans, our pole beans. I'm excited. I think we're gonna do zucchini and, hold on, let me flip you around. So I think we're gonna do zucchini, radishes. We're gonna do tomatoes. I'm gonna put the like large tomato plant down here. I'm just gonna do one. And then we'll do the little tomatoes, like grape or cherry, in pots, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna bring the pots downstairs from the deck, because the deck is looking worse for wear. There's maybe only a couple seasons left in this deck before it becomes a hazard, to be perfectly honest. But that's like a next year project. We're gonna have the whole thing rebuilt in Trex, I think, or like a comparable product. Doesn't necessarily need to be like the Trex name brand. So that's something we're definitely gonna do. But yeah, so we're gonna do tomatoes. I'd like to do kale, because I love kale. Some lacinato kale would be really nice. I have some leeks upstairs right now that we got at the farmer's market. I think I'm gonna try and keep the bottoms and regrow them in a pot. My chives are already coming back. The chives come back every single year. I'm obviously gonna do basil. It's my favorite herb and the one I end up using the most. I think we're gonna do maybe yellow squash if there's room. We're just kind of feeling this out. This is our first time really doing this on our own. When we gardened in Westminster, the previous owners already had a lot of stuff kind of landscaped and ready to go for a garden. So this is our first foray into it on our own. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun. And I like having something to actually get up and get out of bed and go straight to do in the morning, other than like feeding the cats, obviously. It'd be nice to get up, get dressed, and then have to be down here to water the garden every morning. I really liked that when we lived in Westminster. It like gave me some structure to my day, which was nice, especially being like a full-time work from home person. So yeah, that's the spring update. I'm excited about our garden, and I'm hoping to be out and about and doing more, because I'm sort of tired of being cooped up now.